Good afternoon and welcome to Wilkins Stadium as we've got a doubleheader of softball with the Wichita State Shockers in action today. Steve Strain, Jamie Hull with you. It's Missouri State and Wichita State that will do battle first as the Shockers try to pick up their 13th win of the season. Missouri State has already played today and they won 2-1 over Western Illinois. And that game, as you probably can imagine, if you haven't been told already, went extra innings. It went a while as that one went 10 before the Bears won 2-1. That's the reason for the late start here today. But Wichita State won both games yesterday over the two teams that are here, Missouri State and Western Illinois. Now they'll try to do it again. Originally, the Shockers were scheduled to play Western Illinois first, and then late last night, there was a change. I think that was to accommodate Missouri State being able to get out of here earlier. And so now it's the Shockers of Missouri State first. Western Illinois will take on Wichita State in the nightcap. Jamie, welcome in. The Shockers finished last night with quite a bit of momentum. That sixth inning grand slam home run for Paige Llewellyn that sent the Shockers from down 7-4 to, here it is, up 8-7. They held on in the seventh inning to get the win. Nice bit of momentum for the Shockers coming off that big blow to turn around and play again here today.
Absolutely. Paige Llewellyn picking up 4 RBIs on that particular play. She is definitely creeping up on that RBI lead on her career, so just shy of about 6 now that she needs in order to take over the 1 spot on the career RBI record. So what a time to do it. Man, the Shockers really needed that, and you're exactly right, Steve. Coming into game 1 today against Missouri State, they have a lot of that momentum offensively.
6 runs batted in is what Paige Llewellyn needs to become the new RBI leader in Wichita State history. The leader in that department is none other than Casey Williams, who is on Christy Brettbenner's staff as the director of operations. We'll have the first pitch coming up next, the Shockers and Missouri State.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Not ready for the first pitch, the Shockers and the Bears of Missouri State, as it'll be Caitlin Bingham that'll get the start for Wichita State. Second straight game for Bingham to get a start. She was the starting pitcher in the nightcap last night when the Shockers knocked off Western Illinois, but Bingham only lasted an inning and a third as it was a struggle for her. Jamie, I would imagine that she's got to be pretty excited to turn right around the very next day and get another crack to redeem herself.
Yeah, Bingham as a freshman coming in, she had a hefty resume coming from high school, did a great job on the mound and at the plate. So she's definitely someone who can bounce back even in her freshman season, see a little bit of growth as she goes into game 1 today against Missouri State.
Erica Zimmer is the leadoff hitter for Missouri State, and she swings and misses, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike to Zimmer, leadoff hitter for Missouri State. Again, a late start. We were scheduled for 2:30, but Missouri State's game with Western Illinois went 10. And so we have just started. 3:06 was the first pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike to Erica Zimmer as Bingham delivers. This one is a strike, 1 and 2. Caitlin went an inning and a third last night. 6 earned runs on 5 hits. She walked 2, struck out 1. Western Illinois was the opponent, and they put up 6 runs in that second inning last night before the Shockers got some late fireworks. But a good start for Caitlin here. A strikeout to Erica Zimmer, and there's 1 away. Nothing like starting off the game with a strikeout, Jamie, especially when you're looking for a little boost. in the confidence department, and that'll do it.
It's definitely what you want to see. You know, Zimmer's a senior leadoff, has a great batting average coming into this game, 358 average for the leadoff spot. So that's huge from Caitlin Bingham to keep her and her speed off the bases.
Haley Vino, the left fielder, steps in now. Low and away for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Daphne Plummer waits on deck. She's the shortstop. Erin Griesbauer is the designated hitter for Missouri State, and she'll bat 4th. Darian Frost behind the plate 5th. Hannah Heinrichs hits 6th. She's in right field. Allie Altstad bats 7th at first base. Kelly Metter at third base bats 8th. Madison Jones bats 9th. She's the second baseman. 2 balls and no strikes to Haley Vino. With last night's start that only went an inning and a third for Bingham, her earned run average is now 6.75. 1-3 is her record. She did not factor in the decision last night, of course, exiting as early as she did, and the Shockers coming from behind to win. 13th appearance of the season for Bingham. This is her 7th start. You'll notice that Haley Vino is going with a jacket. Many players are. And the umpires, because of this cool weather and the high winds, are not enforcing the jacket rule today, so players can go with the jackets. 3 balls and a strike, the count to Vino. There's the umpire behind home plate going with the long sleeves as well. This is a Big 12 umpiring crew, as ball 4 is delivered to Vino, and down to first base she goes with a 1-out walk. A Big 12 umpiring crew that was involved in quite a bit of controversy in last night's nightcap, Wichita State and Western Illinois. Things got a little crazy there in that 4th inning of the second game.
Yeah, we had a few calls that we weren't really sure what they were called necessarily, like something that you would maybe not see in an everyday situation here at Wichita State specifically. You know, we saw, you know, for the first thing was Klitsky was the pitcher and walked off the mound thinking she had out number 3, and it was actually out number 1. But then having a few plays right after that, just with Western Illinois being off the base and then getting hit by a pitch, there was just a few really odd things that happened in that game.
Pitch is a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike is the count. Yeah, we had a Western Illinois batter, thought she got hit by a pitch, didn't. She started her way down to first base with runners at first and second. We'll finish the story after this 1-1. Outside 2-1. So as the runner is going to first base, even though she wasn't hit by a pitch, the home plate umpire called her back, but the runner at second started down to third, got tagged out. That's a live ball. And she got tagged out and was called out by the third base umpire, only to allow her to go back to second base after that on an overrule by the home plate umpire. Christy Bredbender let the entire crew know how she felt about that. We had a good listen into that conversation too.
Yes, we did.
Bouncer over to first. Riley Buck will tag the runner Plummer going up the line for the 3 unassisted, 2 away. Buck at first, Kaylee Hecker over at second. Laurie Derrico's the shortstop. Mackenzie Wright over at third. Thought initially Riley was going to step on the bag, then just decided, what the heck, I might as well tag her out, and second out of the inning. First pitch here to Griesbauer is up high for a ball. Or excuse me, this is Caitlin Beeson. We were told that Erin Griesbauer was not going to pitch, but she was going to be the designated hitter. And now they've got Caitlin Beeson in there. I don't know. 1 ball and no strikes. The count to Beeson. This one gets away. That's going to be a wild pitch. It's going to send Vino down to third. Heavy winds today, not quite to the extent that we saw here Tuesday when they were blowing out of the north in from left field at up over 30 miles an hour, but it's close. The wind speed is. There's a strike, 2-1. It was much cloudier earlier in the day. Now the sun has come out, but still that wind that you can tell is blowing heavily right there is certainly keeping things pretty cool, and it's the reason for the jackets, the long sleeves, and a much cooler day, unfortunately, than yesterday. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count to Beeson.
We got lucky just in the middle of the first game between Missouri State and Western Illinois, having the sun pop out. It was a little cloudier earlier today, so definitely helping out, providing a little bit of warmth.
Another wild pitch, and here comes the run to score on back-to-back wild pitches. Haley Vino comes home to score, and Missouri State's grabbed a 1-0 lead. And we talked about some mistakes with the Shocker staff last night with walks and illegal pitches and just some of those, I guess you could call them unforced errors, but Missouri State gets Haley Vino from second to home on a pair of wild pitches.
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate for, you know, starting out the scoring in a game where it could be pretty close. You know, yesterday's matchup with these two teams was 3-1, so you got to take every run seriously. And it looks like that one's just kind of getting away from Bingham. Just needs to reset a little bit and really focus on hitting the glove of her catcher behind the plate in Paragon.
Well, that'll help. Bingham comes back, gets the strikeout, but after a couple of wild pitches, Missouri State scores a run. After half an inning, Bears 1, Shockers coming up. Well, the Wichita State Shockers had some early catching up to do in the second game last night against Western Illinois, down 6-0 after an inning and a half. Not quite a 6-run deficit here, but they're down 1-0 very early. Steve Strain, Jamie Hull with you on a Sunday afternoon where we will play the Shockers and Missouri State in a schedule change, and then Western Illinois in the nightcap. Jamie, as we talked about at the start of the broadcast, though, the Shockers got that grand slam from Paige Llewellyn last night in the 6th inning, and she is climbing the charts in the Wichita State RBI department and just needs a few more to be the all-time leader.
Only 4 to go. We got an updated stat after the first start of this game that she's only 4 behind the career lead there for the Shockers. So, and like we talked about, her timing couldn't have been better. Wichita State definitely needed that amount of runs at that exact time.
And here's somebody who's swinging the bat really well all of a sudden after a big day yesterday. Mackenzie Wright had 5 base hits yesterday. And she will lead off the game for Wichita State and takes a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Jamie, Mackenzie Wright's got 19 hits on the season, so it's at 25% better than of those 19 hits came yesterday in 2 games alone.
Yeah, she was hot, specifically against Missouri State. 3 for 3 with a walk. I mean, she was certainly looking good. That's exactly what you want to see out of your leadoff hitter, is get on base, you know, make something happen, and that's certainly going to give your offense a chance every single time.
Pitch is in there for a strike. 2 balls and a strike to Wright. Riley Buck will bat next. She's on deck as the first baseman. Lori Derrico, the shortstop, bats third. Those 3 against Caitlin Beeson, who is winless so far on the season. Shockers very familiar with her, and she is with them, of course, with Wichita State only a year removed from playing in the Missouri Valley Conference against Missouri State, as Wright grounds out to short on the way. Paige Llewellyn, we talked about her, will hit cleanup today for the Shockers again, and Wright. Madison Perrigan behind the plate bats 5th. Asia Weber in left bats 6th. Caitlin Bingham, another one of those Shocker pitchers this season that's hitting, will bat 7th. Bailey Nickerson in center hits 8th, and then batting 9th for Wichita State will be Morgan Palmer, and she is the designated hitter. So here's Riley Buck now. No balls and a strike to Buck. Shockers have their team batting average at 252 now, so it's climbed a few notches after the 8-run game last night, and that's going to help there as well, as Buck singles on a little soft floater into right field. Well, sometimes it's not how you get there, it's just a matter that you do. Not the hardest hit in the world, but it was well placed.
Yeah, it looks like it was just a little up in the zone. Riley Buck making contact, putting it where the Bears are not. And that's certainly going to provide a little bit of momentum going into this at bat for Derrico, who had an awesome day yesterday.
Speaking of, she's going to send one down the line foul. This is going to hook. And no chance there in left field for Haley Vino. Vino in left, Erica Zimmer in center, Hannah Heinrichs in right field for Missouri State. They've got Allie Alfstad at first, Madison Jones at second, Daphne Plummer at short, Kelly Metters at third. Darian Frost behind the plate, and Caitlin Beeson is out there in the circle. 1 ball and 1 strike, the count to Lori Derrico. So much talk about Llewellyn's grand slam, Jamie, but how about the shot that Derrico had last night? In the 3rd inning, it was a 3-run homer down the line and left. Little cue stick here over to first. They're going to get the lead runner at second base. So an alert play by Alfstad as she throws over to first. So Derrico reaches on a fielder's choice, and Buck is retired 3-6 over at second base. Nice decision you don't normally see. A lot of times infielders, Jamie, will play it safe and go touch the bag in that situation, but Alfstad made the right decision there to go to second.
Definitely, and I think in that situation, when you can keep the Shockers from getting into scoring position, you're doing the right thing, especially knowing that Paige Llewellyn's coming up to the plate. So Lori Derrico getting a little jammed there on a slow roller. Best decision definitely was to get the lead runner.
Ground ball to second, Jones to her right, a throw to first in time. So Wichita State gets a 1-out single, and they leave one, and after one, 1-0 Bears.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
The Shockers have the hit, but Missouri State's got the run as we go to the second inning. Steve Strain and Jamie Hull with you from Wilkins Stadium as these two former rivals from the Missouri Valley Conference going head-to-head this afternoon. Wichita State won the game over Missouri State yesterday by the score of 3-1. And Jamie, I know last year when we found out Wichita State was going to the Missouri Valley, or leaving the Missouri Valley Conference, this is something Christy Breckbenner, well, both coaches, Holly Hussey for that matter as well, wanted to keep this rivalry alive. From a geographic standpoint, it makes sense. From a rivalry standpoint, fan interest, it also makes a lot of sense to keep these two teams playing each other now in non-conference.
Absolutely. These two teams have faced off many times. Looks like we got a potential injury on the umpire here. It's a rough hop coming in.
Yeah, that one probably didn't feel too good as Frost right now is readjusting the shoelace. Especially when it's cold, things like this don't feel particularly good. So he'll walk it off, and hopefully everybody's okay, and we'll get back to it. But you remember playing in a lot of cold weather. Those injuries seem like they're compounded when the weather's like this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even hitting a ball off the wrong end of the bat can feel like the end of the world in weather like this. And when it's super cold outside, it can certainly be a ring that goes through your hands all the way up to your elbows. But as we were talking about, you know, the rivalry between these two teams, the coaching staffs get along so well. They do a lot of recruiting in the same area, so they see each other on a lot of recruiting trips. But it's really cool that they're keeping this kind of rivalry alive even outside of the conference.
Mackenzie Wright at third fires across to Frost, to retire Frost. 5-3 for a putout. And there's one away for Hannah Heinrichs. Well, and from a fan standpoint, too. Missouri State fans here, Wichita State, when they go to Springfield, I'm sure that they'll have fans that will go there as well. Here's Hannah Heinrichs now, taking one down and in for a ball. And of course, the Shockers also always had Tulsa as a non-conference opponent that they would usually do a home and home with, and now they pick them up in conference as a regional rival as well.
Mm-hmm.
A good program to play year in and year out also. 1 ball and no strikes to count to Heinrichs. And this pitch is also going to miss, and the count's 2 balls and no strikes.
It's also a really good game between Missouri State and Wichita State most of the time. You look at the overall record, the Shockers lead now 55-53 overall. So fairly close as far as wins to losses between the two. So they definitely give each other a really good game in most cases, as well as we saw yesterday with that 3-1 ball game with the Shockers coming out on top.
And when Missouri State is competitive and good, which they normally are and are again this year, it's a good RPI game for Wichita State and vice versa for Missouri State from that standpoint as well. Just makes a lot of sense in so many ways that these two would continue to play, and here they are today. A look at Holly Hesse over in the Missouri State dugout. 30 years. How about that? Where was Jamie Hull 30 years ago?
I was being considered. My parents were just maybe thinking about number 2.
Okay, 3 balls and 2 strikes to count. There's ball 4, and down to first base goes Heinrichs. Well, the point of the story
Hey, you asked.
is Holly Heinrichs was here coaching Missouri State. Or Holly Hesse, excuse me. Allie Albstadt steps in now with a runner at first and 1 away. It's a long time and a lot of wins for her.
Yeah, back on February 9th, she actually got her 750th career victory. That's a lot of winning.
Yeah. First pitch to Albstadt, a strike, 0-1 to her. First baseman for Missouri State, 1-0. Bears have the lead, top of the 2nd inning. The first of 2 for Wichita State. They'll play Western Illinois half an hour after this one is over. I mentioned Missouri State and Western Illinois have already played today. The Bears won that game 2-1. That game went 10 innings. And they had to implement, Jamie, to try to move that thing along in extra innings, the international rule, where they start the half inning with a runner at second base. And even with that, at times, it didn't help in extra innings, but finally, Missouri State able to win at the bottom of the 10th inning.
Yeah, one thing that the international tiebreaker will do is test your bunt game, because that's going to be the first thing any batter is going to do, is try to get that runner from second to third as quickly as possible. And then you're almost always going to see an attempt for a squeeze bunt from the next hitter to see if you can bring that third base runner on in. So not something that, you know, the college softball level really likes to see, but sometimes in a tournament, based on time and start times, you got to do what you got to do to get that game rolling.
That one was close, just barely missed. The count's full now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. I mentioned Caitlin Bingham's numbers now. She's pitched in 28 innings exactly coming into play today after her inning and a third last night. Pitch chopped foul, the count's still 3-2. 30 runs for Bingham in 28 innings. She's given up 27 earned runs, walked 18, and struck out 15. And this is something else that Ryan Stefankowicz probably is working with her on. Opponents hitting .317 against her. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And there's a good one. Strike 3 called. Alstad thought it was ball 4. Instead, she gets rung up. Good location there, Jamie, and that's what I was going to talk about with that opponent's batting average. Not the case there. She did not present a very hittable pitch right there, but a strike.
That was a nice pitch. Yeah, Caitlin Bingham was kind of been working the outside corner so far today, and then she comes back hard and in. You know, when you talk to Ryan Stefankowicz and the staff here at Wichita State about Bingham, they talk a little bit about her just overthrowing, trying to do maybe too much. And we saw that yesterday. Now she really looks like she's getting into a better groove, and you can see Ryan Stefankowicz with Bailey Lang, the ace of this pitching staff, working together to just kind of take it pitch by pitch and really work with this freshman in her first season.
So when he sees that opponents are hitting well over 300 against a pitcher, is that going back to location? Are you leaving too many things out over the heart of the plate and not fine enough painting the corners?
Yeah, as a pitcher, you're overthrowing when you do that. Whether you're missing your spot and it's a ball, or you're missing your spot down the middle, you're not trusting your spin and your movement, and that really is what keeps those batters off balance. Sometimes you're a great pitcher just because you can hit a spot. So, you know, that's something that they're definitely going to continue to work on with her through her career here.
There's a great opportunity right there to see some of the communication that goes on between Stefankowicz, Madison Perrigan, and his pitcher. Hats off to Greg Mathias and our crew. I'd like to see that again maybe later on in the game. But another strikeout here, so a good job by Bingham here to retire the side. Shockers down only by 1 after an inning and a half. Wichita State will get their second crack now at Caitlin Beeson on a windy one from Wilkins Stadium on a Sunday afternoon. Missouri State 1, Wichita State nothing, and here's Madison Perrigan stepping up to the plate for the Shockers. Had another home run yesterday in the first game of the doubleheader. Of course, she had the big dramatic solo shot Tuesday. It was in the second inning, but it was the only run of the game, and the Shockers beat Arkansas. Then yesterday in that good game with this Missouri State team, she had a second inning 2-run homers. The Shockers won 3-1. Two balls and no strikes. Madison fairly quiet in the nightcap last night against Western Illinois. She was 1 for 4. Bouncer back to Beeson and an easy toss to first. And Perrigan is retired, 1-3 for the first out of the inning. It'll be back to the road for Wichita State after today. They'll play Western Illinois when this game is over, and then the Shockers have 5 straight away from Wilkins Stadium. 4 of them will be at the Creighton tournament in Nebraska, and they'll stay in Nebraska then and play Omaha in a single game Tuesday, March 20th. Iowa and Creighton will be the opponents in the Creighton tournament, and then they'll play a single game against Omaha as well. There you see some of the upcoming games for the Shockers. Iowa and Creighton both coming up here in a few days. No balls and 2 strikes. The count at the plate to Asia Weber, starting in left field today again for the Shockers. Asia's got the batting average at an even 250 on the season. 10 hits and 40 plate appearances. She's got a home run and 5 runs batted in. Boy, Beeson working the edge right there, and that one was close. Weber laid off, and it's 1-2. Beeson took something off there, and that one misses. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Beeson has that twist toward third base, then sets and delivers. This one slices foul down the left side. Christy Bredbender has the gold sleeveless vest on today with the gloves. Boy, she's brought it all, Jamie. Yesterday in the first game, she was able to go with shorts, then went with the warm-up suit in the nightcap, and then here really bundled up on a much cooler day.
Yeah, that sun might be coming out, but it's definitely not stopping the wind at all.
No.
So got to have a little wind breakage happening.
Alvstad gets a glove on this one, but deflects it into right field, and on at first base is Asia Weber. So the Shockers get a base runner on a base hit. Alvstad, a pretty quick move down to her right, but just only able to get the edge of the glove on it.
It was a really great attempt, making that play and maybe stopping it before it went out into the outfield. But, you know, Weber kind of struggled a little bit yesterday against Missouri State. She was 1 for 3, so it's nice to see her kind of making a new contact, maybe having a new approach today in this game.
Another one to right field, this by Caitlin Bingham, but she's going the other way to right. And back-to-back base hits for the Shockers. Down to second base goes Weber, and now Wichita State with first and second and 1 away. This piece of hitting right here, Jamie, is Bingham just goes with it, sends it through between first and second.
Bingham also another one that struggled a little bit at the plate yesterday, so definitely a bright spot when you see the meat of your lineup come up and make a little bit of magic happen. You know, we saw the bottom of the lineup do a lot yesterday, and we're going to continue that.
Another base hit, this one by Bailey Nickerson. That's 3 straight singles for Wichita State, and all of a sudden the bats are alive, and they've got them loaded with 1 away.
Yeah, you made the point yesterday, Steve, that the bottom of the lineup for Wichita State had been pretty consistent, having really nice at-bats, and it continues there with Nickerson and leading up to her at-bat, having a few singles to kind of set up this nice little position for Morgan Palmer.
Now time has been called. Conversations in the circle and up the third base line as well, as the Shockers with an opportunity here to bring some home. 4 hits for Wichita State. None for Missouri State, but the Shockers have the lead, or excuse me, have them loaded with 1 away. Hey, the Shocker Sports Grill and Lanes is the perfect place to spend time with family and friends. Open to the public, the Shocker Sports Grill and Lanes features 8 bowling lanes, billiard tables, plus great food and beverages like freshly made burger sandwiches, salads, cold beer, and more. The Shocker Sports Grill and Lanes is located in the lower level of the Radigan Student Center. It's the perfect place for kids' birthday parties, group events, or a night out with friends. And yes, you can catch March Madness down there as well. All right, here we go. They're loaded. Morgan Palmer steps in. And the first pitch to her is a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Asia Weber down at third, Caitlin Bingham at second, and Bailey Nickerson at first. They all singled back to back to back. Now, what can Palmer do to move them around? Pitches a ball, 2 balls and no strikes, and now Caitlin Bingham really putting her back against the wall here with a 2-0 count. She's got to come through with a strike.
Yeah, this is a tough place to be as a pitcher when you're coming in with being behind and having the bases loaded. She came back with a nice pitch there on the outside corner. See the defense from Missouri State up. They're expecting to come home with the play against Asia Weber. Morgan Palmer hoping to put it where they're not. Make sure that doesn't happen.
Right back to Beeson. She's going to come home for 1, and that's all they'll get. But Caitlin Beeson was hoping that Frost might be able to have an opportunity to fire one to third or first, but Frost holds on, and they just get the lead runner, but that's a very big lead runner being thrown out at the plate. 1-2 for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, you see Morgan Palmer take this outside pitch. If it just would have squeezed by Beeson just a little bit, it would have been perfect. But Beeson did a great job defending her position as a pitcher and making a nice throw home.
So now Mackenzie Wright steps in. She grounded out to short in the bottom of the first inning. This is a big at bat in the game right here early, with somebody swinging a pretty hot stick up there with the bases loaded in a one-run game. Beeson took something off right there, and Wright takes a strike, 1-1. Mackenzie not only had 5 hits yesterday, but she really struck the ball well when she did most of the time. So let's see if maybe this little homestand here has kind of been the turning point for her offensively this season. Sometimes that's all it takes, isn't it, Jamie? Just a few good swings and some solid contact, and all of a sudden the ball starts to look bigger and bigger. Yeah,
it definitely helps your team. It's contagious. Hitting's contagious all the way through the lineup, but man, it's contagious as a hitter too. When you feel good at the plate and you're confident and you're having good at bats, you're a dangerous player in the lineup.
2-1. And she takes to even the count, 2-2. So Caitlin Beeson a couple batters ago was looking at the bases loaded with 1 out and was down in the count 2-0, but since then she's battled back, thrown some strikes, gotten a bouncer right back to her for a force, and now 1 strike away from escaping. That one misses away, and now it's really interesting because the count's full.
Now we've seen a little bit of everything from Beeson in this at bat. Little off speed, little outside, little inside. It's tough to say exactly where she'll go here with Wright.
A big payoff pitch here, and Wright swings and sends this one to center field. And moving over to her left and making the catch is going to be Zimmer. It was a bit of an adventure for her. She fell down to the ground, but makes the catch. Shockers had their chance, but they leave them loaded as we go to the third. Missouri State up 1.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Well, the Wichita State Shockers had their chance there in the bottom of the second inning, Jamie. 4 hits through 2 innings. Kind of frustrating when you have nothing to show for it, especially after just leaving them loaded.
Yeah, I mean, Mackenzie Wright did have a nice contact there and really challenged Zimmer out in the outfield for Missouri State. The wind was really pushing that ball. It hung up in the air quite a while and really challenged her as an outfielder to keep her composure and make a nice play, and she did just that. So, you know, you said it before, Steve, that the Shockers are just struggling with their runners left on base and really not advancing them at the right time, and sometimes waiting too long to make something big happen in the score column. But we'll have to wait and see if that's an opportunity they capitalize on in the next half inning.
Madison Jones to get it started for the Bears here in the top of the third inning. And Caitlin Bingham's first offering is low and away. 1 ball and no strikes. Jones then back to the top of the order with Erica Zimmer and Haley Vino. So 9-1-2 for Missouri State here in the inning. Now you see the batting average for Jones. As this one is fouled at the plate. Boy, that's not going to feel good for Madison Perrigan, and she is slow to get around after that one. Again, because of the cold weather, it certainly can't help. But Madison's going to take some time to walk that one off. Christy Bredbender asking her if she's all right.
Catcher's getting the most beat up of anybody else on the field. You can see here right off the top of her knee, it looks like. It definitely does not feel good, no matter what the weather, but it's certainly going to feel a little worse when your bones are pretty cold out there in the wind today. Looks like she's doing a good job keeping it together, but I'll tell you what, catchers are some of the strongest people on the field. They go through a lot.
1 ball and 1 strike, the count to Jones. And another one low and away. Seems that Caitlin Bingham, Jamie, continues to be targeting that part of the plate, both to right and left-handed hitters. Certainly here to Jones, she's gone low and away a couple of times now. Comes back and goes way up high, 3-1.
One thing Bingham's really struggling with so far, the majority of her first pitches have been a ball. And I think, you know, one thing that you're going to notice as you go through your college season is getting ahead of hitters can be one of the best ways to set up a nice successful outing as a pitcher.
Couple of hops to Derrico at short. Lori will charge in and fire to first in time. 6-3 put out, 1 away, and we'll head back to the top of the order now with Erica Zimmer.
24, Erica Zimmer.
Well, you take away those 2 wild pitches by Bingham, and she's working on a pretty nice start to this game, and her strikeout to walk ratio is much better this game than it's been all season. It's early, but a good start, especially considering how shaky she was yesterday.
Yeah, 4 strikeouts, 2 looking, 2 swinging. Definitely has a lot better composure, and in this at bat right here, starting off with a strike. So she's going to continue to get better and better as she stays ahead of these Missouri State hitters.
No balls and a strike. Zimmer was the first strikeout victim for Bingham to start the game, so she's 0 for 1 as this one comes up high. How much talking do you think in a case like yesterday where you're playing the second game of a doubleheader? She did exit early, but then you turn around and play again the next day. How much talking do you think she was able to get with Ryan Stefankowicz between yesterday's start and this afternoon?
I'm sure they did a little bit yesterday, and certainly some today as she was warming up in the bullpen, just telling her to relax and trust herself. You know, that's just one of the only things that I could say mentally a pitcher struggles with the most. Making that adjustment from high school to college ball is trusting that even though you're playing against all the student athletes here that were maybe the best players at their high schools too, doesn't mean that you can't be just as competitive on the mound. And she's just got to trust herself, and so far it's really working out for her today so far.
This one stays upstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Zimmer. Zimmer .358 with the batting average. That is the highest on this Missouri State team amongst those who are regulars and playing today, certainly. Caitlin Beeson not far behind at .356. This will be a put out on a close play at first. When I think some of the Missouri State fans were thinking that was going to be a base hit, but Derrico's throw apparently just in the nick of time. Here it is again.
Yeah, Zimmer's a quick girl. You see her going all the way down the line, same time that Derrico's trying to get this in and out of her glove as quickly as possible. That's a close play there. You know, Zimmer knows how to get on base, so being called out is probably not something she's used to doing with that kind of speed.
Haley Vino in now, and they will appeal. She did not go around. 1 ball and no strikes. So Lori Derrico has been on her toes this half inning. 2 ground balls to her for a pair of 6-3 putouts. And it could be a hat trick for Derrico. It is. 3 6-3s to go in order for Missouri State in the top of the 3rd. After 2.5, Bears 1, Shockers nothing.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
After 2.5, Wichita State looking for their first run. They put the bat on the ball pretty well for 4 hits through 2 innings, but Wichita State scoreless against Caitlin Beeson. Again, the Shockers and Western Illinois about 30 minutes after the completion of this one, although as cool as it is, and it probably will only be cooler by that time, you wonder if maybe they'll trim that down a little bit if at all possible. Rake the dirt, chalk the lines, and tee it up again pretty quickly. We'll see. We'll keep you posted, but it is chilly again and probably only going to get colder as we move on today towards that second game.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the time change. You know, we talked about that earlier. Maybe the sun will give us a little extra time today with that 5 o'clock start, formerly known as the 4 o'clock start. We'll see what happens.
Riley Buck down the line and left. It's going to hook foul, and it's going to go out of play. Buck, Lori Derrico, and Paige Llewellyn. 2, 3, and 4 for the Shockers. Down 1-0 here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Riley singled back in the first inning, so she's 1 for 1. Started the game with a batting average of .296, so she is right around 300 now. As she's going to send a couple of hops to short here, and Plummer is going to fire out at first.
It's a great play by Plummer. One of the hardest things to do as a middle infielder is decide whether you're going to run up on the ball or whether you're going to let it have one more hop, and she made sure that she didn't give it enough time to make another hop. She runs up on this, stops it right before it's going to go past her, and does an awesome job with the bullet over to first. That's an impressive play from a middle infielder.
Not as easy as she made it look, for sure. Here's Derrico. Lori's 3-run homer in the 3rd inning last night. Hooked down the line. It was called a home run right away, but then the 3 umpires talked about it just to see if anybody had a good enough look at it to overrule it, and they didn't, and it stood. And now she rips one on the ground into left, and she's got a 1-out single. And that's the 5th base hit of the game for Wichita State. And now Paige Llewellyn will step in. Well, that might be a case there, Jamie, of Lori recognizing she's probably not going to hit one out into that wind, so why not send one through on the line or on the ground and get on it first at least.
It looks like she may have had the plan, too, to wait on the changeup. Beeson brought it in and was a little slower, had it coming in, and she certainly was not fooled by it. Had a nice little piece of hitting from Derrico there.
Paige Llewellyn takes down and away. 2 balls and no strikes. Paige grounded out to second to end the bottom of the 1st inning. She's going to send one to right field here, slicing back in the corner and gone. As Heinrichs ran out of room, and Paige Llewellyn has stroked a home run. And the Shockers have taken a 2-1 lead. Well, she had the big grand slam last night to center field, and this one sliced the other way. And that one was a case, Jamie, where I think the wind might have actually helped it a little bit, blowing in from left field. That's going to help a ball slicing out to right.
Yeah, that was unexpected, honestly. I thought that for sure that might have stayed in, but you're right, Steve. I think the wind may have helped it just a little bit. Paige has a lot of power, so it didn't surprise me at all. She sent it to the outfield, but definitely surprised me that it went over, and I definitely think it surprised Heinrichs, out in right field. She's still a little shaken up out there, having run into the fence going after that ball.
Yeah, let's hope she's all right. I think she wasn't expecting to see the fence as quickly as she did, as well as that one kept carrying. We'll take a timeout. Shockers lead 2-1. Hannah Hendricks has been taken to the dugout from right field as she charged back on that Paige Llewellyn home run and unfortunately banged into the wall, and here it is again. You can see she's going back and ran right into the right field wall, and she laid down for a while before coming off the field. Hopefully she will be okay.
You really got to credit her and her hustle, man. She was going after that ball and didn't care, you know, if the fence was going to be there or not. Wouldn't have been surprised if she attempted to rob that one. And unfortunately, like you said, Steve, she met the fence a little faster than she expected. We hope she'll be okay.
Darby Jerling has gone into right field for Heinrichs for the Bears. So Madison Perrigan now will step in. And she takes one low, 1 ball and no strikes. But Paige Llewellyn has done it again, a grand slam last night. Then she follows that up with a 3rd inning homer here. Both of those home runs have given the Shockers 1-run leads. Last night it gave them an 8-7 lead in the bottom of the 6th inning that held. Here, a 2-run shot gives them a 2-1 lead with Perrigan up now, 1 ball and 1 strike. Paige, by the way, now has 3 homers on the season. In for a strike right at the knees, 1-2. All of a sudden, the RBI chase, Jamie, has tightened up. In fact, it's tied now. Llewellyn with 13, and this batter here, Madison Perrigan, also with 13. High bouncer over to third. Metter is in and throws to first in time. After game 1 yesterday, it was Madison Perrigan with 13 runs batted in. Nobody else had more than 6. But with the grand slam last night for Llewellyn, then the 2-run shot here today, they are now tied at 13 runs batted in each.
Nice little turnaround for the offense. You know, they had been quiet a little bit, and then they really woke up. Man, they had an awesome turnaround a little bit later in the game yesterday against Western Illinois.
Llewellyn's home run, the 14th of the year for the Shockers as a team. And Missouri State just with 5 home runs all season long. 1 ball and 1 strike to count to Weber. Asia singled back in the 2nd inning. Shockers with 6 hits now. Glad they finally got a couple of runs to show for it as Beeson takes something off here. And the off speed is a strike, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You've now seen that twice in a row, the changeup on Weber. Be really curious to see if that's how she's going to attempt to put Weber away here in this at-bat.
Weber slices one into left, but Vino is right there. She'll make the catch to retire the side, but Wichita State plates 2 on another homer for Llewellyn. As we go to the 4th, the Shockers by 1.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Caitlin Bingham now toes the rubber here in the 4th inning for the first time with a lead as the Shockers have given Wichita State and Bingham a 2-1 lead. Paige Llewellyn did it with that 2-run homer to right field in the bottom of the 3rd inning. So Daphne Plummer will lead it off. Then Caitlin Beeson and Darian Frost. 3, 4, and 5 for Missouri State here in the 4th. Shockers looking to make it a perfect 3 for 3 this weekend. They knocked off Missouri State and Western Illinois yesterday, and they're going to try to do it again today. The start to the 4th inning, good for Bingham. Plummer, 4-3 put out. Kaylee Hecker over to Riley Buck, 1 away.
Plummer in the 3 spot as a freshman. It's impressive. Started every game so far.
And doing well, 312 with the batting average coming into this game today. Now here's Caitlin Beeson, who's started the day at 356, taking one low. And of course, she's also starting in the circle for Missouri State. Takes the first pitch low, and Madison Paragon out to talk to Bingham. Beeson, 2 homers, 7 runs batted in. 6 of her 16 hits, Jamie, are doubles. And that's helped her to a slugging percentage of .622, blowing away the rest of the team in that department. 2 balls and no strikes here to Beeson, who struck out back in the first inning. Boy, Beeson thought that one was in tight. Certainly looked that way from back here, but called a strike. 2-1.
Beeson actually leads the Bears here with 7 walks on the season, so typically a good eye. Nice call in Bingham's favor there.
Mackenzie Wright snares it on a hop and throws to first. And Jamie, I was just about to bring something up, and that last play even furthers the point. Through 2 innings, Caitlin Bingham had 4 strikeouts. Now, the last 5 batters in a row have all been retired by groundouts. All 3 of them in the last inning were to Lori Derrico at short. Here, a grounder to second, a grounder to third. And that's probably a better sign also, isn't it, of a pitcher who's starting to get good command, keeping the ball down and forcing only ground balls.
Yeah, definitely. And Bingham's kept that ball low in the zone, which is definitely important on a day like today. The wind can do a lot, and so you're really going to have to trust your defense to make some kind of wicked plays when the wind is blowing the way that it is. So that's a really good idea, to keep the ball on the ground, keep it true to where it's going to go, and that way your infield can really work for you.
I know we talked so much last season about Jenny Brooks, particularly it seemed like trusting the defense behind you, not being afraid to throw strikes. With some of the great gloves she had behind her, Kelly Spring, Derrico, Mackenzie Wright. Pretty good defense behind Bingham as well here. A lot of new faces, but still plenty of reliable defenders. There's a swing and a miss for a strike, and the count's full at 3-2. Frost is a ground out victim. She led off the second inning by sending one over to Mackenzie Wright at third, so she is 0 for 1. Started this game with a batting average of .289 and lifts this one to center. And moving back and over to her left is going to be Nickerson. She's not going to get there. And it's going to bounce in front of the fence, and that's going to be a base hit, the first of the game for Missouri State. So the Bears had a run, but no hits until now, as this one ends up slicing and blown to right center field.
Now look at that ball. Wow. Nickerson was kind of on the run for it, and then as soon as she saw the wind take it, knew she was just going to have to start running toward the fence, because that's exactly where that ball was going.
That's why I believe, to take nothing away from Paige Llewellyn and her home run, but the ball slicing to right field already, that wind blowing in from left probably helped it a little bit as well. A strike to Hannah Hendricks, nothing in 1 to her. She walked back in the second inning. Or excuse me, that's Jerling who came in for Hendricks in the last inning defensively. Nice stop by Paragon. That saved a runner moving to third base.
Yeah, that's huge.
Nice
That is not easy play.
Nice little scoop right there. Jerling has time called now. She's going to go down and talk about it with her third base coach. And Ryan Stefankowitz now uses that as an opportunity to holler out some instructions to Caitlin Bingham.
Madison Paragon made that look pretty easy, didn't she? It was a nice little kind of hockey stop. That was awesome.
Yeah, like a first baseman scooping one up over at first. And again, it was big because it keeps Frost at second base. 1 ball and 1 strike to count at the plate. Runner at second, 2 away, with the Shockers leading by the score of 2-1. Just above the letters. One of the rare times we've seen Bingham try to go up high, and she went too high. 2 balls and a strike. Almost the same location, 3-1. Three in a row above the letters, and down to first base goes Jerling. Well, there was no question where Bingham wanted to work Jerling that time, but each time, Jamie, just a shade above the letters, and down to first base goes Jerling.
Yeah, the last walk actually issued by Caitlin Bingham was to Jerling's replacement and Henricks back in the second inning.
Now Alstad grounds one outside the bag, foul at third, 0-1. The very first walk of the game that Bingham issued came back to Honor. That was Haley Vino in the first, who then advanced to third and to home, both on wild pitches. Those walks do have a way of coming back to hurt you, don't they? Good off-speed pitch. She pulled the string right there, and she's ahead in the count to Alstad, 0-2.
Yeah, this is the position you want to be as a pitcher who's let a few runners on, who's only allowed one hit. Now you can kind of throw whatever you want and really see if you can really battle test Alvstad here at the plate.
0-2. And that one grounded foul. Well, you could tell that time Bingham wanted to go back down low again and did. That probably would have been ball one, but Alvstad took a swipe at it.
Alvstad's a senior, making her 7th start today against the Shockers.
Took something off, and for the second time in the game, Bingham has gotten Alvstad looking on strike 3, and down she goes. Caitlin got in a bit of a jam, got out of it. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Wichita stayed up by 1. Hamburgers expired? Well, Caitlin Bingham, Jamie, got what they called that shutdown inning. Your offense gives you the lead in one inning, and then you go out and shut down the opponent the next and get your sticks right back up there. And not only that, look who it is that gets to lead off the bottom of the 4th inning.
Yeah, that's always got to be a fun feeling as a pitcher that also hits, man. You're going to come off of a nice inning where you shut down the offense, and now you have a chance to really pick up your own offense leading off this inning.
She's going to ground one over to third. Nice play by Metter. Ranging to her left. That one wasn't easy either. We've seen some nice defensive plays, and there was another one. One away. So Bailey Nickerson will step up now. This one moving right along as we've only seen 3 runs about halfway through. Of course, we know what that means now. I jinxed the game. Nickerson singled back in the second inning. She's 1 for 1. Nice play by Beeson, snaring that one hopper. How about the glove work we've seen today?
Yeah, I mean, the reaction time alone.
Watch Beeson just very nonchalantly go out with the left hand and snag this hot shot.
Yeah, I mean, any other day, that's through for sure. Beeson's done a great job defending her position as the pitcher here for Missouri State so far today.
Morgan Palmer tries a bunt that trickles foul up the third baseline. 0-1 to her. Two weekends from now, the Shockers will play their first conference games as members of the American Athletic Conference. Memphis will be here at Wilkins Stadium for a 3-game series. Lifted to left, plenty of room for Vino in this wind, and it's a very quick 1-2-3 for Bingham, or excuse me, for Beeson, as we go to the 5th. Shockers by 1.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
On to the 5th inning now in a 2-1 Wichita State lead. Shockers have out-hit Missouri State by 5, but only outscored them by 1. Don't forget, Wichita State left them loaded in the 2nd inning. They had the bases loaded with 1 out, then Morgan Palmer bounced into a fielder's choice. Mackenzie Wright flied out to center, and that was that. But the Shockers do have the lead thanks to Paige Llewellyn's homer to right a couple of innings ago. Now Kelly Metter will start things off for Missouri State here and takes one down and in for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Missouri State won a 2-1 10-inning game earlier today. They lost 3-1 to the Shockers yesterday. As Metter lifts this one foul and out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Metter was only used as a pinch hitter in the first game. She was 0 for 1, did score a run. Pretty well struck here, center field and deep and gone. And we are tied at 2 on a homer to straightaway center by Kelly Metter. Well, it'd be fun to see that one from our center field camera because that one was right at him out in straightaway center field. But how about the stroke there by Metter?
Yeah, everyone knew it. Missouri State immediately celebrating as the ball leaves the bat of Metter. Her first home run of the season. Coming big.
We're going to have to get our camera crew some helmets out there in center field if that keeps happening. That was close. Madison Jones steps in now, but we are tied at 2 after the solo shot to lead off the 5th inning for Kelly Metter. Just the 2nd hit of the game for Missouri State, but it's a big one to tie the score at 2. Madison Jones has an even count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Jones led off the 3rd inning by grounding out to short. She's 0 for 1. Two balls and a strike here. That was the first home run of the year for Metter, Jamie. Somebody who is only batting .167 starting the day.
Yep, today only her 11th start so far in the season. Freshman coming in here from Missouri State.
3 balls and a strike. And Bingham comes back and delivers one taken for a strike, 3-2. And that's a case where then if I think you're Wichita State, you just tip your hat to Metter. You're going to throw a strike. Somebody who's hitting a $167, you're willing to give them hittable pitches and roll the dice. But to Metter's credit, she just put good aluminum on the ball and sent it out of here. There's a strikeout for Bingham. And there's one away as she comes back and battles. Nice job after giving up the home run to get the strikeout there.
There's that low ball working for her, going kind of actually a little curve happening on that one, going kind of toward the middle of the plate and then leaving to leave off the plate a little bit. Great pitch from Bingham as she exits this game.
So Bingham will leave, and it looks like Bailey Klitsky is going to come in from the bullpen for Wichita State. So the Shockers making a pitching change right here, as we saw Klitsky in the second game of the doubleheader last night. But Caitlin Bingham's time is done, and Bailey Klitsky in from the bullpen. What do you think about the timing of this move by the Shockers? It looks like Missouri State's going back to the top of the order. Do you think that's what precipitated this move, or do you think there's something else?
Yeah, I think that they can really tell that they need to kind of get a new view in there. Bingham was doing good. You know, she had a great number of strikeouts, about 6 strikeouts in the game, doing a good job with the movement, but was starting to just kind of fall off a little bit, leaving too much over the plate, having the wild pitch earlier today. So just seeing a little bit of a different view from the lefty in Klitsky.
The next batter up for Missouri State is Erica Zimmer, who Bingham did retire twice. Zimmer was 0 for 2. However, it should be noted, as we talk about this pitching change, Zimmer, of course, is a left-handed batter, and Klitsky is a left-handed pitcher, so you do get the slight advantage there, lefty pitcher versus lefty hitter. And maybe that played into it as well.
Also with Zimmer, you know, having a good average, this might have been her opportunity to have her, you know, 1 for 3 that she might pick up every now and then. She's not a hitter that gets out very often with her speed, so this is certainly something that'll kind of test her now, having not seen Klitsky so far today.
Klitsky was the winning pitcher in the second game of the Shocker doubleheader last night. She pitched the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings, Jamie, and she only gave up a run, walked 3 and struck out 3, but she held Western Illinois in check in the top of the 6th inning right before Paige Llewellyn's grand slam home run that gave Wichita State the lead. So Klitsky got the win, then Bailey Lane came in to pick up the save. First pitch here to Zimmer, low for a ball, 1-0.
Klitsky also needs to come in here really trusting herself. She does a lot of walking as well. A little wild at times, but certainly someone who can make a difference and make an impact for this program.
That one inside for a ball. And the home plate umpire had motioned out with his left arm before that pitch, then called that ball too, and then went over to say something to the Shocker staff or the dugout.
It's like he called that illegal before the motion even began. Looks like Klitsky didn't do what she needed to do with ball to glove contact before starting her windup.
Bailey comes back with the strike there, 2 balls and 1 strike. With the win last night, Bailey Klitsky's record improved to 3-1. Her earned run average dropped to 4.29 on the season in 16 1/3 innings. 2 balls and a strike, and high and away, 3-1. In those 16 1/3 innings, Bailey Klitsky has given up 10 earned runs. She has walked 14 and struck out 20 opponents, hitting .254 against her. There's a swing and a miss. Runs the count full now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Of course, this is Bailey's second year here at Wichita State. And there's ball 4. So down to first base goes Erica Zimmer, and That is not what Ryan Stefankowitz had in mind and Christy Bredbender when they brought Klitsky in, facing the top of the order. But she gives up a walk to the #1 man in the lineup for Missouri State. And now here's Haley Vino, and there's Stefankowitz looking on.
Got to be careful with Zimmer at first. She's 10 for 12 on her stolen base attempts this year so far.
This one fouled back and out of play. That's something we've not seen much of this entire weekend. Anybody putting the wheels in motion for stolen bases.
Yeah, I think for Wichita State, we've seen so many extra base hits. There hasn't even really been an opportunity for that. Most of them already making it to second base with the double that they've gotten, or really just the trot around the bases with a couple of home runs that we've witnessed so far.
Here's a bunt. It's a beauty up the first baseline. Nobody's going to pick that one up. Madison Paragon falls to the ground, and it's an infield hit for Haley Vino, and Missouri State with runners at first and second. Well, that one perfectly placed, Jamie, right out there in no man's land, and watch it come to a stop right there. I mean, that is just tough for anybody to get to, and then you can see Buck and Paragon bump into each other, but it wouldn't have mattered. An infield hit that time for Vino.
Yeah, that's a textbook bunt. I mean, that was the perfect place to put it. It just died off the bat. Vino also a quick runner for the Bears here. Definitely somebody who's going to be a tough out regardless of where she puts the ball in the infield, but certainly a good bunt nonetheless.
So a very important part of the game right here. Tied at 2, top of the 5th inning, but Missouri State now with runners at first and second, and only one out for Daphne Plummer, who's got a 1-0 count in her advantage. And make it 2 balls and no strikes. So for Bailey Klitsky, Jamie, it's gone walk, bunt, single, down in the count 2-0. She's got some battling back to do. Upstairs, 3-0. Now she's really playing with fire because Caitlin Beeson, the cleanup hitter, waits on deck. We'll see if Plummer is taking all the way here with the count 3-0. She is. It's a strike, 3-1, one that Klitsky badly needed.
Dino's been an impact, Plummer has been an impact player so far for Missouri State this year. Again, just a freshman, doing a great job at the plate, looking to extend that opportunity here for her Bears.
Down and in, ball 4, and down to first base goes Plummer. They are loaded with 1 out for the dangerous Caitlin Beeson coming up to the plate now.
Number 10, Caitlin Beeson.
Klitsky walked 3 in 3 innings last night. She's already walked 2 in just 3 batters here. And now she'll have to contend with the pitcher for Missouri State with the bases loaded and only 1 away. Klitsky delivers. A bit away, maybe high as well. 1 ball and no strikes.
Klitsky's definitely a passionate player. She wants to do well for her Shocker team. Maybe just trying to do a little too much here, guiding the ball a little bit, having a few balls, a few walks. Just really needs to settle in here.
Little grounder back to the circle, and the throw is going to be home, and Paragon's foot came off the plate, and now 2 runs are going to score. And now they may send a third. Nope, they're going to keep the runner Plummer at third base. But that throw to the plate was a little bit high, and I think that was the right call. I think Paragon's foot came off the plate. Christy Bredbender is calling time, but watch Paragon's foot come off the plate right here, and Klitsky's got to get this throw down regardless, but let's see if her foot comes off the plate. It did, but was it still on when she caught the ball? Home plate umpire called her out. Now Coach Bredbender has asked for him to talk with the other umpires. And I think the call stands. Paragon's foot may have been on the plate just long enough before she lifted it off, but again, either way, Klitsky's got to get in that situation, that throw down.
Yeah, that's a tough play for a pitcher. We talk about it all the time in softball. A pitcher who's so focused on an underhand motion going to an overhand motion for a big play. Had a lot of pressure on her there and just had a high throw. And unfortunately, not a good turnout for the Shocker defense. And now head coach Christy Bredbender out talking to her defense, getting them back into the swing of things to know that, hey, we need to get out of this inning. I mean, this is definitely one of those positions that you let the bleeding go too long. You really got to stop the bleeding here and stop the scoring as quickly as possible and get the outs when you possibly can.
So the Shockers have been charged with an error, a throwing error on Klitsky. That allowed 2 runs to score. As coming around from second base was Haley Vino. Down to third goes Plummer. Staying at first base was Beeson, and she's going to get a courtesy runner for her. So they are at the corners now for Missouri State. They've grabbed the 2-run lead. Here it is again, one more time. Too close to tell right there, but the home plate umpire was right on it. He said that foot came off. And safe at the plate was Erica Zimmer.
In for DP.
33, the catcher, Darian Frost.
That's Erin Griesbauer that's running for Caitlin Beeson over at first base. Darian Frost is the batter, but the Shockers now down 2 here, at least in the top of the 5th inning. Missouri State may not be through. They've got him at the corners and only 1 out. And Klitsky rears back and delivers a strike, 0-1.
It's the first batter that Klitsky's faced so far that she's given a first pitch strike to.
This one to second, and they're going to try to get the play at the plate, and they did. What a job by Hecker at second, firing home, and Perrigan gets the tag down just in the nick of time, and Plummer is retired. 4-2, what a play at second base. That one was another bang-bang play, and it almost looked like Plummer got in underneath the tag, but Perrigan, according to the home plate umpire, didn't.
It's a huge heads-up play, and it completely makes sense. When you're on third base as a runner, you're going when the ball's on the right side of the field. Great decision by Missouri State, but Kaylee Hecker coming in with a nice throw to Perrigan with a nice tag at home plate. Big play for the Shockers.
So 2 away now, and runners at first and second after Kaylee Hecker comes through with, no pun intended, a heck of a play. And now there's 2 outs with runners at first and second. So 4-2, Plummer goes for out number 2. This one gets away from Perrigan, and everybody's going to move up. So the count's now even, 1 ball and 1 strike. As Jerling stands in now. Of course, she came in for Hannah Hendricks a little bit ago. This one upstairs for a ball.
Jerling just batting .083. 1 hit on the season thus far.
Lefty versus lefty, and the pitch lifted out of play to even the count at 2-2. Well, remember that play from Kaylee Hecker if the Shockers are able to come back and win this thing, especially if they win it by only a run, because that one saved a run right there. Two balls and 2 strikes. A swing and a miss, and Klitsky gets out of the inning, but some damage done as Missouri State plates 3. They leave a couple. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Shockers now down by 2. Welcome back to Wilkins Stadium. Missouri State scratched across 3 in the 5th on some bang-bang plays. And here's one of them. The play at home plate again is, this is Kaylee Hecker throwing out. Runner coming to home. Nice tag by Madison Perrigan. But Perrigan's foot came off the plate on another play that allowed a couple of runs to score. But what a job by Perrigan. That's not as easy as people think, Jamie. When you're a catcher, runner coming down the line, you've got to A, get in the right position, try to block the plate at the right angle, and then catch the ball and apply the tag as well.
Yep, it's all about ball first. You say it all the time defensively with the runner coming down, and you can tell exactly how close it is. You want to get your glove faster than the ball actually gets there at times, and she did a great job focusing on getting that ball in her glove and ensuring that that out was made for the Shockers.
Top of the order for Wichita State. Mackenzie Wright will start things off, then Riley Buck and Lori Derrico. So the Shockers will start off with 1, 2, 3 here at the bottom of the 5th, down by 2, 4-2. Wright takes low and away. The count's even 1-1. McKenzie grounded out to short back in the first inning, then flied to center to end the second, and she did that with the bases loaded. A tough one to swallow for Wichita State. They had them loaded in that inning with 1 out and couldn't get anybody home. A strike at the letters, 1 and 2.
Again, Beeson coming in with that changeup. She's been productive so far today, keeping the Shockers off balance, going in and out with hard stuff, and then coming back with a changeup. Saw Derrico earlier today with having that game plan of hitting that changeup as it comes in. You might see more Shockers making that adjustment as they continue through this 5th inning.
Wright goes the other way, slices one into right, and that's going to get down. That's going to be extra bases. McKenzie rounding second. She's not going to stop there, and she'll slide at third with a leadoff triple. Touched on the fact last night that she's done a good job now here lately of going to the opposite field. Stays with that one and drives it down the right field line.
First triple of the season for Mackenzie Wright. She's got a little speed and a lot of power in that first spot for Wichita State. Definitely something you want a senior to do is lead off a really big inning offensively for her team.
Well, can the Shockers pull off more late inning magic? Last night in the bottom of the 6th, Paige Llewellyn had the grand slam home run that lifted the Shockers to an 8-7 victory. And Mackenzie Wright here leads off the bottom of the 5th with a triple. Riley Buck has the count even to her, 1 ball and 1 strike as she fouls one over toward Coach Brett Benner at third.
Mackenzie Wright didn't have a triple at all last year in 2017.
Just the 3rd 3-bagger for Wichita State this season. Those are hard to come by, Jamie, in this game of softball, because you've got to do pretty much what Wright did right there. You've got to perfectly place one to get a triple. There aren't places. It's usually either a double, a home run, a single. Those triples are hard to find. Liner, shallow left, coming on is going to be Vino. She's not going to get there. That's going to score the run. And we've got a 1-run game now on a base hit, it looks like, for Riley Buck. Well, Vino came on and she slid towards the infield, but that's not an easy play to make right there, and kind of sinking in front of her, and that's going to be a base hit.
Yeah, it's a great spot. Buck figured out that there's going to be a little bit of land right in front of the outfielders for Missouri State. Now with the wind blowing in toward home, that's going to cause a little bit of shifting happening. The ball's not going to go far or deep. It's going to be heading right back in. So it's actually a really nice spot to put it to score right.
7th run batted into the season for Riley Buck. You look at this Shocker scorebook today, and you're starting to see some of the production that Christy Bredbenner's wanted up at the top of the lineup, and a lot of that has to do with Mackenzie Wright starting to hit the ball now that she's really started to do well this weekend. So Lori Derrico will step in now, having reached a milestone in this game as she picked up her 100th career base hit with that single back in the third inning. Bounces one over toward Coach Brett Benner at third here, 0-1. So we've seen in this weekend series of doubleheaders, Jamie, a couple of milestones. Is the 200th strikeout in Bailey Lang's career occurred yesterday, and then today, Lori Derrico's 100th base hit as a Shocker. She rips one into center here. Heading to third is going to be Buck, and she's going to get there, and that's going to allow Derrico to go down to second base. Well, Daphne Plummer caught that on the cutoff, Jamie, and she just stared at third, never paid attention to Derrico, and Lori said, what the heck, I'm going to go to second. Plummer, I feel like, had she been more aware of Derrico, might have been able to whip around and keep Lori from going to second. Instead, second and third.
And you get to see it again here. Nice piece of hitting from Derrico, straight back up the middle.
And watch Plummer just never pay attention to Derrico until it was too late. So the Shockers now with runners in scoring position, second and third, only down a run. And Missouri State is going to intentionally walk Paige Llewellyn to load him up. What do you think of this decision to load him up and get to Madison Perrigan, the team leader in home runs and runs batted in?
Yeah, this is interesting. You know, you see it all the time in baseball. You think that, you know, with putting runners on each base, the easy play at 4 is a lot better than having a tag play at 4. So that could certainly be what these Bears are looking to do. But, you know, Llewellyn is absolutely a great hitter, a dangerous hitter. But so is Perrigan up to the plate here. So it'll be interesting to see how this one turns out for Wichita State.
So the Shockers with some fireworks here in the 5th inning. Mackenzie Wright led off with a triple. Then they've had back-to-back singles and an intentional walk. They've scored one, but a great opportunity for more. They are loaded with Shockers, nobody out. And their top home run hitter, their top RBI person, stepping up to the plate now in Madison Perrigan. And there's a lot of discussion going on up the third baseline with Christy Bredbenner, maybe going with some courtesy runners, we'll see. But Missouri State has already decided they want Erin Griesbauer to come in and pitch. So Griesbauer will pitch in relief of Beeson, who's responsible for all of the runners on base.
15 is now the offensive player only.
Griesbauer pitched the final 3 innings of game 1 yesterday. And although she gave up 5 hits in 3 innings, Jamie, she did not allow an earned run. Walked 1, struck out 1, didn't walk anybody. So what do you think's going through her mind? You come into a game with the bases loaded, nobody out, and you got the best power and RBI person coming up that you're going to face.
This is what you want to do, keep the ball down, but keep it a strike. You know, at the end of the day, you have nowhere that you can put Madison Perrigan, and, you know, you don't want to put it up because we've seen the ball leave the field just based on some high pitches that have elevated and been taken out by the wind today here in Wichita. It's all about keeping the ball on the ground, let your defense work, and really put some pressure here on Madison Perrigan at the plate.
Pitch is low for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Perrigan is due, too, as she is 0 for 2 today. Had the 2-run homer in the 2nd inning of the 1st game yesterday, which was against Missouri State. Takes here, and this one up high for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes.
That's a hitter's count for Madison Perrigan. Got to be looking for a good one here. She's had 2 ground ball outs today so far. Definitely looking to get something through these infielders.
Bouncing ball left side and through for a base hit. And Wichita State is going to score a run and tie it up at 4. As Madison Perrigan comes through with the RBI base hit, scoring Riley Buck from third. Lori Derrico stops at third base. Paige Llewellyn down at second, as we are now tied at 4. So now Asia Weber will try to keep the line going, stepping up from the left side, slicing one foul and out of play. The 10th hit of the game for Wichita State, and an RBI for Madison Perrigan.
Something she's used to doing, scoring a few of her teammates. Madison Perrigan now with a nice number in the RBI column for her team. Definitely coming in the clutch here with no outs and getting that tie going here for Wichita State's offense.
Weber sends one foul up the first base side, 0-2. Yeah, that was the 14th run batted in of the season for Madison Perrigan, and she has just moved one ahead of Paige Llewellyn for the team lead. Llewellyn and Perrigan were tied at 13 when Paige had that 2-run homer earlier in the game, but now Madison has one more run batted in. 1 ball and 2 strikes here. Asia Weber singled back in the second inning and flied out to left in the third. 1-2, another one chopped foul. And the count is still 1-2. And it looks like Bailey Lang is the one who's in the on-deck circle, who's going to bat next. Pitch is down, and you can only assume that that means Bailey's coming in to pitch, Jamie. She was probably not even being thought of last night until Paige Llewellyn's grand slam, and all of a sudden she was thrown in the 7th inning to get the save, and there you can see Bailey in the background there. Shockers are planning on taking the lead, and it looks like they will here on a deep fly to right. Here comes Derrico from third, and she will score, and Wichita State's taken the lead as they've plated 3 here in the inning to lead 5-4. And so now Lang will bat, and I presume she's going to come in and try and close the door over the next couple of innings. On a deep fly ball to right, Asia Weber gets the run home.
It's an awesome job by Weber. It's what you wanted to do, get the ball out to the outfield. If it lands, great. If it doesn't, you know what? That's just one more run for your Wichita State offense, and that provides Wichita State with the lead just like that. So we'll see what Bailey Lang can do coming into this game now in spot for Bingham.
Paige Llewellyn tagged and went to third, by the way, so the Shockers have them at the corners now. Still only one out here in the inning after the fly ball to right field by Asia Weber. And Missouri State looks like they may be making a change too, unless Coach Bredbrenner is just reporting to them the changes she's making. Cassidy Kelsheimer's in over at first base. So that was the change that Coach Bredbrenner made. In addition to the one here at the plate, Bailey Lang will step in. And the first pitch to Lang comes in tight, and she did go around though, and it's 0-1. Bailey batting .211 on the season, and she takes outside here. The count's even 1-1. Starting to hit the ball better though, Jamie. She had those 2 doubles against Arkansas Tuesday. Shockers with 3 in the inning and looking for more. Only 1 out still. Good pitch. There goes the runner to second. The throw, and no tag, and a stolen base for Cassidy Kelsheimer. And that's a significant stolen base, Jamie, because now the force out at second is taken away, and the possibility of a double play from second to first has been taken away. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Now this is a big spot for Lang to be in, coming in for her first at-bat of the day. 2-2 count. We'll see what she can do for her offense.
driven right field on a line. This one's going to get down and bounce off the fence. Here comes Llewellyn, and here comes Kelsheimer. And Bailey Lang has hit another double, her third this week, and the Shockers have added to their lead. Boy, she just smoked a rope to right field. And that one was no doubt going to get over the head of Jerling, and off to the fence it went.
Yeah, it looks like they were just playing a little in, which, you know, in most cases with 2 strikes, you might not expect a nice little base hit out of a pitcher, but there she is. And she's an athletic player for Wichita State, does both sides as far as defense and offense as a pitcher, and does a really good job, as you mentioned, Steve, been hot lately with the long ball. So good job by Bailey Lang to clear the bases.
Now here's Bailey Nickerson, and she takes the first pitch for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. So the third double of the season for Bailey Lang. All of them have come this week, and she also picks up her 5th and 6th runs batted into the season, as there's a ground out on the infield for Nickerson, and that'll bring up Morgan Palmer. Lang, though, makes her way down to third. Well, also, if you're Bailey Lang now, assuming she is going at a pitch, you'd certainly think she is. It's got to be a much more comfortable feeling to know you're going to go out at least up 3 rather than up 1, and that you were the one that helped your team do that.
Yeah, that's a lot of momentum for one player to be feeling, so hopefully that'll be something that if she is on the mound that she really uses to her favor for her defense.
Morgan Palmer, having an 0 for 2 afternoon, steps in now. I think Palmer felt like that one might have been away, but it was called a strike. 1-1. So the Shockers will go to the top of the 6th, up at least 3, but Morgan Palmer's trying to add to that. Bouncer over to short, fielded, and she won't. 6-3 on the putout, but the Shockers score 5 in the inning. Welcome back to Wilkins Stadium. We move to the bottom of the 6th inning. Wichita State leading 2, looking for some insurance here. Jamie, let's go back and recap what we missed in the top of the 6th inning because of some technical issues. But Bailey Lang came on, and the first 2 batters she faced, she struck out, and it looked like it was going to be the same old Bailey. She did give up a walk to Madison Jones, but the problem for Wichita State started at shortstop, where Lori Derrico had back-to-back errors, both when Erica Zimmer was up and then a throwing error when Haley Vino hit a ground ball her way. And one was a fielding error, one was a throwing error. And a run scored for Missouri State in the inning. So Wichita State now only up by 2. Although the first error on Lori may be changed to a hit. Apparently Lori did not get a glove on the bouncing ball into center field. It was close, but still a run scored for Missouri State in the inning. The Shockers only up 2.
Yeah, Derrico just struggling a little bit defensively right now. Definitely somebody who is going to get a lot of balls at shortstop this season, so this is a good time to kind of get those out of her system and come back as she usually does. As a great Shocker here at Wichita State, both offensively and defensively, an awesome player for Wichita State. So just a little bit of a struggle that last inning. And hopefully going to be able to turn it around. She'll be hopefully up at some point, or will be up this inning. So maybe something that she can turn around offensively for her team.
She'll bat third in the inning. The Shockers batted around in the 5th when they scored 5 runs. So it all started with Mackenzie Wright in the 5th inning, and she will lead off the 6th. And she's ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. And it was a triple slicing down the right field line that enabled Mackenzie to find her way all the way to third base. Takes a strike here, 2-1. 3 straight hits to start the bottom of the 5th inning for Wichita State. Wright tripled. Riley Buck and Lori Derrico singled, or excuse me, Derrico had a double, and then a walk to Paige Llewellyn and another single from Madison Perrigan. Ground ball foul outside the bag at third here. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Wright.
That one sounded like it stung the hands of Wright just a little bit. Just off the handle of the bat there down the third base line.
Easy to do on a day like today when it's so chilly out. Wind still blowing in from the north, meaning it's blowing in from left field. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Mackenzie, and the pitch in tight. Counts full 3-2.
Brees Bauer really wanted that one, along with the rest of her dugout. You kind of heard them making some noises, really wanting that called strike. Wright going in with a 3-2 count, seeing if she can start off a little offensive power here for Wichita State.
It was the first double of the season for Mackenzie Wright. In the last inning here, she leads off with a walk, and down to first base she goes for Riley Buck.
First baseman Riley Buck.
Jamie, this is just the second time today that the Shockers have had their leadoff batter aboard, and both of them in the last 2 innings. Mackenzie Wright's leadoff triple in the 5th, her leadoff walk here. The first 2 times Wichita State has had their leadoff batter aboard. Riley Buck takes a strike, 0-1. But that's who you want getting on base. That's why you're the leadoff batter if you're Mackenzie Wright, because of your ability to get on base, whether it's base hits or walks. 0-2 to Riley Buck. Hits for Wichita State in this game. So we are watching the Shockers now on a pretty steady climb with their team batting average that started today moving up to 261, or excuse me, to 252, but it was at 245 starting the weekend. And 11 more hits today is going to help.
That's something that Coach Economan, who's the first year at Wichita State as the assistant coach in charge of hitting, definitely likes to see the double digits in that hits column.
This is going to be what could be an infield hit. Now they may change it to a fielder's choice on a pop fly to the infield that the second baseman Madison Jones couldn't come up with, but then the throw out to second base to retire Mackenzie Wright. I'm not sure if the wind played tricks with that one or not. It looked like it was going to be a fairly routine pop-up. Or maybe perhaps Jones thought Beeson was going to come over and catch it. I'm not sure, but they still got the 4-6 force.
Yeah, it looked like it was just shy of an infield fly rule that you would typically see in that situation, which actually kind of hurts Wichita State, having had that lead out be gotten in that situation. So that's actually working out pretty well for the Missouri State defense, although it didn't come up as a pop out, but nonetheless an out.
No balls and 2 strikes. The count to Lori Derrico, who's got a single and a double, and now 101 career hits at Wichita State. Now trying to do something with her bat. Shocker baseball team wins again. 5-4 the final. In 10 innings, Wichita State beats UT Arlington. And the Shockers now 12-2 on the season.
Got a nice start going.
And that would be a sweep of UTA. Their only 2 losses have been in this past week, but they sweep UTA and pick up their 12th win of the season. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Lori Derrico.
This is the most pitches that Derrico has seen in one at bat today. Most of her hits that she's had, the 2 that she's had, coming off of the first or second pitch of the at bat.
Bouncer to short. This could be 2 to second for 1 and over to first. Nicely done. A 6-4-3 for Missouri State to get out of the inning. But we go to the 7th. The Bears need 2 to tie on WSUTV.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
To the 7th inning now, Bailey Lang trying to close the door for Wichita State as the Shockers have a 7-5 lead. Dangerous part of the order, though, for Missouri State is Caitlin Beeson will lead off, then Darian Frost, and 4, 5, and 6 for Missouri State. The third one up due this inning for the Bears will be Darby Jerling. But it'll start with Beeson. And the first pitch is away for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Hot shot right back to Lang, and Beeson is going to be safe at first base. Boy, a screamer back to Bailey. Hopefully she's all right, as Beeson is on over at first. Well, she got a big cut at this one, Jamie, and right back at Lang in the circle.
Second time that Beeson's gone back up to the pitcher. Earlier today with the ground ball to Klitsky, who kind of made that overthrow home plate, excuse me, for Madison Perrigan behind the plate there. So Beeson has gone up the middle a few times. That one with a little bit more power behind it. Hope Bailey Lang's okay.
Yeah, Ryan Stefankowitz came out. Bailey appears to be just fine, so that'll bring up Darian Frost. Missouri State gets Griesbauer in over at first. She's the courtesy runner for Beeson, as stepping into the plate is Frost. This one sent out of play over on the right side, 0-1. 7-5 Wichita State. The Shockers trying to hold on here. Both of these teams are battling for their 13th win of the season. Wichita State's 12-8, Missouri State's 12-9. Another one back at Lang. Missouri State is taking target practice at Bailey Lang. And it's first and second after Bailey takes another one in the circle. What's going on out there, Jamie?
Looks like there's just a little bit too much plate being hit by the ball that Lang is throwing. That one actually in the air, coming off of her knee. Coach Bredbender out to the circle to check on her. It's definitely not something you want to see when you've got your ace pitcher in the circle and having the balls flying back at her. That's not common, nor is it good news for Wichita State. Bailey Lang going to take a few pitches here to kind of see if that's going to work out for her and hopefully get over that injury pretty quickly.
So Bailey will throw a few warm-up tosses here, and Christy Bredbender will make sure she's all right. That's big because now you've got the tying run at first base and the go-ahead run coming up to the plate. And that's going to be Darby Jerling, who came in the middle of the game out in right field in replace of Hannah Henricks.
Number 8 running.
Missouri State's going to get a courtesy runner at first, and there it is, Bailey taking another one for the team. Sarah Jones is the courtesy runner, by the way, for Frost. So a couple of courtesy runners, Griesman and Jones. And the first pitch to Jerling, she showed bunt, but it's outside for a ball. Jerling's first at bat was in the 4th inning. She walked. She's going to bunt here and lay it down, and it's a good one. It gets the job done. That's going to be a 5-4 sacrifice bunt, but now the tying run is down at second base as there's runners at second and third with one away.
Now the 7 spot has been one that the Wichita State defense has been able to handle thus far.
Hot shot gloved by Derrico. Nicely done to keep it from going to the outfield, but one run will score as Griesman comes home from third as a single to shortstop, and now it's a 7-6 game by Altstop.
And I spoke too soon. You see the 7 spot. We've had 3 strikeouts in that spot thus far today, and then that one gets through. Lori Derrico making a nice diving attempt, keeping that in the infield. Not enough for the out, but definitely saving another advanced base for this Missouri State offense.
So a 7-6 game. Things have gotten interesting, and Christy Brettbender out of the dugout, and she wants to have a conversation with everybody. She's called the entire defensive alignment for Wichita State into the circle to talk to everybody. Now, sometimes, Jamie, these conversations consist of just the infielders. What is Coach Brettbender wanting to say when she brings everybody?
Yeah, this is their opportunity to get everybody on the same page. You know, just in case the outfield needs to hear what the infield typically would, this is a chance to come together, hear what Coach Brettbender has as kind of a game plan going against Metter here. Having seen her 3 times so far, there's been 2 strikeouts, but there has been a home run from Metter thus far, so something that her defense really needs to be prepared for altogether.
So a big situation right here. 7-6 is our score. Runners at first and second, one away, and it'll be Kelly Metter stepping up to the plate now. Lang delivers, and the first pitch in there for a strike, 0-1. Bailey got the save last night. She's the only pitcher for Wichita State with any saves. She has 3. And she's trying to finish off the Bears here. There's a swing and a miss for a strike. So Lang has come out firing strikes here. 0-2 to Kelly Metter. Shockers were up 1 run when she came into the 7th last night and closed the door. This one high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3, and down she goes. And what a job by Lang to get the 3rd strikeout.
No, that's a huge out. Bailey Lang knowing it, and she did a great job. That was actually out of the zone, so because she was ahead as a pitcher, she's able to throw the pitch that she feels most confident pitching, and there it was, putting down Metter.
So now it'll be up to Madison Jones, who slaps one to the left side, and that's going to be a foul ball, 0-1. 18 hits in the game and 13 runs. Wichita State's got the only 3 errors of this contest, yet they still lead by 1. Chopped foul at the plate, and now Missouri State is down to their final strike. Well, Bailey got a 1-run save last night, and Shockers leading by 1 here as she's trying to close the door.
again ahead of the batter. This is definitely a good spot for Bailey Lang to be, getting her defense ready to go, hopefully to put away the Missouri State Bears.
Had one to waste, and she tosses it outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So the 1-2, swung on and missed, strike 3, and down she goes. And Bailey Lang closes the door. So another save for her, another win for Wichita State. They've got 13 against 8 losses. Missouri State is 12-10 as the Shockers come away with a 7-6 victory, thanks in large part to a 5-run 5th inning for Wichita State. As the Shockers batted around, and Wichita State comes away with the victory. Next game coming up in about 30 minutes from now. It'll be Wichita State and Western Illinois as the Shockers look to make it a perfect 4-0 on the weekend. So stick around in about 30 minutes, come back and see us, and we'll do it one more time. Wichita State and Western Illinois as the Shockers try to get to 14. Jamie, we'll talk to you in a half hour.
We'll see you then.
All right, we'll come back on WSUTV 30 minutes from now.